Yesterday, I debunked this absolute nonsense that Game Pass wasn't profitable. It was actually really easy to debunk because it's just patently absurd. Now, this article references the editor in chief, Christopher Dring, of the business. Now, let's hop over here where Christopher Dring now admits that he was wrong. Okay, I need to clarify something. First, Xbox Game Pass is profitable, even when you factor in the lost sales for its first-party teams. Sources who would know have told me. I have to wonder if that was my video, because, I completely dismantled this. If you do basic math and see how much Game Pass earns, stretch that across 5 years, and then take the worst estimate for how much a AAA game costs, you find out that Game Pass is massively profitable. Like, just by a lot. And that's not even factoring in all the other deals it makes. Game Pass can easily pay for all the development by itself of the entire Xbox division. It makes that much money. Over 18 months ago, I checked with Xbox about what's included in Game Pass P&L. Basically, I was looking to see if Game Pass cost factor in the impact to unit sales of their internal studios. I was told that first-party games have their own P&L separate to Game Pass as they make money via other means, which is exactly what I told you guys in the video. I felt this piece of internal accountancy might mean Game Pass is profitable. Let's just say isn't profitable, but all right. But it sure does put pressure on the margins for its internal games and possibly means some studios don't make as much profit or any profit at all. Does it matter? Game Pass makes $5.5 billion a year. That is increasing. That is a great revenue stream. That is revenue that you can earn beyond just the game sales, because a lot of people are never going to buy a game, okay? But they will buy a month of Game Pass because it's cheaper. So you are getting a sale, whereas you would not get a sale. That doesn't actually matter in real terms, but seeing the impact Game Pass is having on first-party games and the amount of money Xbox was spending on studios, I want to check if the full impact of the service was being considered in the Game Pass profit line. This was before Xbox started publishing fully on PS5. Studios... And by the way, I've proved before they started publishing fully on PlayStation 5 that Game Pass was profitable. I couldn't find the old video on that, though, sadly. Studios can now make stronger margins on premium sales as a result of that move. But regardless to all that, the sources have reached out to tell me that even when you include lost revenue associated with first-party games, not just unit sales, but microtransactions, Game Pass is still profitable, so that's great. All right, no, see, you're still wrong, my man. You're still wrong. You cannot count a potential sale that you didn't get as a lost sale. That's not how business math works. In fact, if you want to do accounting fraud, by all means do that, and you'll get in a bunch of trouble. This is why piracy actually does not impact sales, as you cannot prove anyone who was willing to pirate a game was willing to buy the game. A European study, to the contrary, proved that piracy increases sales of games because many people who otherwise wouldn't have bought it played the pirate version, liked it, and then purchased it. They used it like a demo. Though now with demos making a comeback, I really wonder how much that has impacted the using pirated copies as a demo. Because, it has to have impacted some way. So Game Pass is not losing them any money, as you cannot say anyone who played the game on Game Pass would have been willing to buy the game. Are there people who played on Game Pass who would have bought the game had it not been on Game Pass? 100% yes. Unless you do a formal survey, you cannot figure out who played on Game Pass who would have bought the game otherwise. And many people who do play in Game Pass go on to buy the game anyway, who wouldn't have bought the game. So now then you need to figure out how many people you gained from Game Pass who otherwise would not have bought the game, but because they liked it on Game Pass, they bought the game, which would mean you'd have to run a second survey to find out how many people who bought the game after playing it on Game Pass would never have tried the game in the first place. And that's a lot of conjecture math right there. And that is why we do not count a potential sale as a sale. Because you can never determine who would bought it anyway. Right, Tony Hawk's out. Let's get back to that. Basically, everything I said in my last video was 100% correct. Now, though, it has come out officially from the original source, though he still kind of doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's kind of bad from a guy who's the editor-in-chief at Game Business. This is basic accounting business math here. I'm a small YouTuber. I mean, I've wrote for One Angry Gamer, but I'm a small-time YouTuber, okay? How am I out journalisming an editor-in-chief? All I did was look up some basic fact-checking math. Oh, but there you go. Game Pass is profitable. Hit the like, subscribe. See you in the next video.